It was a bright Friday morning in Washington, D.C., the air heavy with anticipation. Just days after resigning as senior advisor to President Donald Trump, Elon Musk, entrepreneur, tech visionary, and the richest man in America, sat before a packed crowd at the American Industrial Renaissance Conference. Hosted in the Reagan Building just blocks from the White House, the annual gathering was intended to showcase innovation, patriotic enterprise, and bold political vision. Musk was a headline speaker. Though he had stepped away from his official advisory role, many still viewed him as the brains behind much of Trump's second-term push for aggressive economic revitalization. But what no one expected was the firestorm he was about to ignite. "I love this country," Musk began, his voice echoing through the massive hall, "and I believe in progress, real, sustainable, futuristic progress. That's why I supported President Trump when he laid out the new Industry Sovereignty Act, or NISA as it's now branded." Polite applause followed, but Musk's expression shifted. His voice hardened. "But last night, I read the final draft of the bill. And I have to say it's a disgusting abomination." A stunned silence followed. Phones were lifted. Journalists stared. Live streams exploded. The term was volcanic. Disgusting abomination wasn't just criticism, it was an open slap. Musk pressed on, unfiltered. "This bill gives unchecked subsidies to coal and oil corporations while stripping AI research of 60% of its federal funding. It punishes solar growth. It erodes EV credits. It's the exact opposite of where we should be headed as a nation." The moment the words left his mouth, a wave of regret flashed across Musk's face, so brief most missed it. But not everyone. In a sealed-off room beneath the Capitol, a secure feed showed the live conference to a handful of aides. President Donald Trump stood in silence, arms crossed, eyes locked on the screen. Across the table, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt flinched, catching her breath. The president didn't move. Not even a blink. But the air turned cold. Back on stage, Musk paused as the crowd began to buzz. He was already imagining the fallout. Elon wasn't a man afraid of controversy, but he knew the game. He knew Trump. He had helped write the early version of the bill. This wasn't just a criticism, it was an ideological divorce. As Musk left the podium, reporters rushed forward. "Do you regret your statement, Mr. Musk? Are you turning against Trump now? Was this the real reason you resigned from the administration?" Musk didn't answer. He looked shaken, distracted. He pulled his phone out of his pocket and saw what he feared most: 5 missed calls from DTWH. A text followed: "Meet me now. Residence. No excuses." What he didn't know yet was that his words had already caused a fracture within the administration. Hardliners cheered his departure. Innovators panicked. The media had its narrative. The stock market trembled. The American people, deeply divided, were about to be drawn into a new storm, and Elon Musk, for the first time in years, felt that he may have just made the biggest mistake of his public life. The gates of the White House swung open within minutes of Elon Musk's arrival. It was no ceremonial welcome this time. No reporters. No press pool. Just a blacked-out Tesla Cybertruck crawling past the barricades, escorted by silent Secret Service agents. Musk stepped out, expression grim. He adjusted his blazer and muttered under his breath, "This better not be a trap." Inside, the atmosphere was icy. The West Wing buzzed with tension. Caroline Leavitt, the ever-fierce White House press secretary, was already waiting at the entrance to the Oval Office. Her clipboard trembled slightly in her hand, though her voice didn't betray an ounce of emotion. "He's not happy," she said flatly. "I figured that," Musk replied. "He's calling it a betrayal. Public humiliation. There's talk of dragging you in front of Congress to testify." Musk raised an eyebrow. "For what, exactly? Speaking my mind?" Caroline leaned in, whispering, "This isn't just politics anymore, Elon. This is personal. You were his man." With a nod, Musk pushed through the doors and entered the room where political legends had risen and fallen. President Donald Trump stood by the resolute desk, eyes narrowed, jaw tight, arms clasped behind his back. The room was silent except for the ticking of the grandfather clock in the corner. "Elon," Trump said, voice low. "I don't like being surprised." "I didn't come here to surprise you, Mr. President," Musk said. "But I had to say what I believed. That bill, it's not what we agreed on." Trump circled the desk slowly. "You used my stage. My bill. And then called it a disgusting abomination in front of the whole damn country. I wasn't attacking you. I was save it," Trump snapped, slamming his palm on the desk. "You just gave the Democrats a month's worth of headlines. You gave every idiot in the media a golden quote to hang me with. You know what they're saying? Even Elon Musk says Trump's bill is an abomination." Elon stood tall, trying to maintain composure. "Then let's fix it. You're the president. You can change it. Trump leaned in close enough for Elon to see the steel in his gaze. You think I haven't tried? You think I don't want cleaner energy, AI investment, all that Silicon Valley crap you peddle? I'm trying to win, Elon. This bill wins votes. Coal, oil, manufacturing, that's what keeps America employed. And automation, AI, renewables, that's what keeps us competitive in 10 years. Musk fired back. This bill mortgages the future to pay for the past. The two titans stood inches apart, their dynamic shattered. Gone were the cordial meetings, the shared tweets, the deals struck over steak and Coke Zero. This was war now ideological, personal, raw. Trump turned away, taking a deep breath. You broke rank, he said. And now you want to come crawling back with policy suggestions? I don't think so. Silence again. Then Trump's voice dropped and he looked out the Oval Office window toward the Washington Monument. I made you relevant in politics. And now you've got a decision to make, Elon. You're either with this administration or you're the next target. Musk stared at him, something hardening in his expression. I didn't need politics to become who I am, he said quietly. But you needed me to sell your vision. Maybe it's time the country hears a different one. Caroline entered then, clutching her tablet. Mr. President, we have Fox, Newsmax, and ONN waiting for a response to the Musk comments. CNN's running wild with it. Trump didn't look away from the window. Tell them I'll speak tonight. From the White House? No teleprompter. And Musk? Caroline asked. The president finally turned back, a slight smirk curling on his lips. Let the people decide if he's a patriot or a problem. As Musk left the room, his mind was racing, not out of fear, but realization. He had just become something far more dangerous than a political advisor. He had become a symbol of resistance, and Trump wasn't about to let that go unchallenged. That night, at exactly 8 p.m. Eastern, every major news network cut into programming as President Donald Trump took to the airwaves. The setting was not the usual formal White House press room. Instead, the broadcast came from the East Room, flanked by flags, gilded drapes, and a full contingent of hand-picked reporters, all silent, all waiting. Trump stood tall at the podium, no teleprompter in sight, eyes fixed on the cameras. His tone was sharp, measured, and laced with unmistakable venom. Earlier today, he began, a former member of my administration, a man I once respected, used words that were not only divisive and reckless but outright harmful to the American people. He paused for effect. Elon Musk called my administration's flagship economic bill a disgusting abomination. Not because it doesn't work. Not because it won't put Americans back to work. But because it doesn't prioritize the kind of elitist, Silicon Valley techno-utopia that has ignored working-class Americans for decades. The cameras panned slowly. Journalists took notes. Across the country, televisions flickered as Americans tuned in, captivated. At diners in Pennsylvania, veterans' halls in Wisconsin, living rooms in Georgia, the name Elon Musk was suddenly at the center of a cultural hurricane. Trump continued, "We are rebuilding American steel, American energy, and American jobs. That's not an abomination. That's patriotism. That's leadership. And no billionaire, no matter how many Teslas he sells or satellites he launches, gets to lecture hardworking Americans about what's best for this country." The applause in the room, spontaneous or carefully choreographed, was deafening. Meanwhile, in a modest hotel suite just outside the city, Elon Musk sat watching the broadcast on mute. His jaw was tight. Around him, a team of trusted confidants, engineers, PR consultants, and former SpaceX and Tesla executives sat in uneasy silence. "He's painting you as the villain," said one aide. "The anti-America billionaire." Musk exhaled deeply, glancing at his phone. Hashtags were trending already. Hashtag Elon the enemy, hashtag Trump strikes back, hashtag tech traitor. His own fan base, usually rabid and loyal, was split down the middle. Half were defending him as a truth teller. The other half? Furious, "It won't be long before Congress starts pushing hearings," another advisor said. "If they can find a way to tie you to any federal funding irregularities, they'll try to bury you." But Elon wasn't worried about that. Not yet. His mind was spinning faster than the headlines. He had to act fast, not just to save his image, but to counter Trump's narrative with one of his own. He stood up. "Schedule a press conference. Tomorrow. Detroit." "Detroit?" one aide asked. "Why there?" Musk smiled grimly. "Because if he thinks I'm abandoning American workers, we're going straight to the heart of American industry to prove him wrong." Back at the White House, Trump ended his address with a signature flourish. "We are at a turning point. You can choose a future built by patriots or a future built by self-obsessed billionaires who forgot what real work looks like." He didn't say Musk's name again, but he didn't have to. The gloves were off. The narrative was set. This wasn't just about a bill anymore. It was war for the soul of the American economy, and as the night deepened over the Capitol, both camps, the president's and Musk's, began preparing for a battle neither could afford to lose. The sun rose over Detroit with an unusual sense of urgency. Once the thriving symbol of American manufacturing, the city had become a battleground not just for industries but now for ideologies. The venue for Elon Musk's press conference was a newly opened Tesla AI robotics facility on the city's edge, just blocks from shuttered factories that once built Fords and Chevrolets. Hundreds gathered: factory workers, journalists, climate activists, veterans, entrepreneurs. The scene was surreal. Musk, the face of futuristic capitalism, now trying to win over blue-collar hearts. He stood behind a simple podium, no screens, no AR, no drones. Just him, a microphone, and a giant American flag behind him. "I came here today," he began, "because I love this country. And because I believe we don't have to choose between honoring our past and building our future." He paused, taking in the crowd. "I know what President Trump said last night. And I know many of you are wondering, did I betray him? Did I betray you?" A silence fell across the gathering. "No," he said firmly. "What I did was speak honestly about a bill that I helped draft, a bill that has been corrupted by lobbyists and corporate dinosaurs who care more about quarterly profits than American innovation. That's not betrayal, that's patriotism." The crowd was still cautious. Musk wasn't Trump, and he didn't speak like Trump. But there was something genuine in his tone. Something that made people lean in. "Let me be clear, I'm not here to run for office. I'm not here to fight a personality war. I'm here to fight for a vision of America where your kids can get a job in clean manufacturing, where our soldiers don't have to defend oil fields, and where our businesses lead the world, not follow outdated policies written in backrooms." He gestured toward the factory behind him. In this building, hundreds of former auto workers now build precision AI components. Many of them told me they never thought they'd work again after the GM plant closed. But they did, because we believed in a different future. And that belief paid off. Murmurs turned into applause. Workers in coveralls clapped slowly at first, then with genuine pride. Musk's tone shifted. "I regret calling the bill an abomination, not because I was wrong, but because I gave the media a soundbite instead of a solution. That was a mistake. But make no mistake, what I said about the bill stands. We need to fix it." He raised his hand like a pledge. "I'll work with anyone, Democrat, Republican, Independent, who's serious about American leadership in tech, energy, and defense. But I will not stand by while we sell out our future for a few cheap wins in the present." The crowd roared. Then came the moment no one expected. A woman in her 50s, wearing a red Trump 2024 hat, stepped forward near the front of the stage. "You really believe you're doing this for us?" she called out. Musk looked her in the eyes. "Yes, I do. You built this country. I'm just trying to help rebuild it for your kids." She nodded slowly. The tension softened. Reporters scribbled frantically. Twitter exploded. Fox News began live streaming. Even CNN gave the event a full segment. Musk had done the impossible. He walked into the lion's den of American industry and walked out with respect. But the real twist came hours later. Back in D.C., Trump tweeted, "Elon gave a passionate speech today in Detroit. I appreciate his honesty. But the bill stays. Coal is back. America wins." A second tweet followed minutes later. "Maybe Musk should run. He's already doing campaign stops. Let's see how he holds up under real pressure." And just like that, Trump pulled the trigger Musk feared the most. He turned the feud into a referendum, not just on the bill, not just on energy, but on the future of the Republican Party and maybe the country itself. In the days that followed, America caught its breath, then screamed. Talk shows exploded. Musk versus Trump dominated every screen. Fox News anchors debated if Musk was the next Ross Perot. MSNBC painted him as a libertarian turned progressive. Newsmax labeled him a Silicon Valley traitor, while CNN scrambled to decide whether he was the savior of rational conservatism or a political chameleon, and in the background, everyday Americans were choosing sides. In Ohio, a union leader named Carl Walters told local press, "Trump gave us jobs back. But Musk? He's offering something bigger: security in the future. That counts for something." In Texas, oil executives denounced Musk's AI energy cult. In California, tech incubators suddenly began branding themselves America First Innovators, inspired by Musk's Detroit speech. In the span of 72 hours, Elon Musk had done something no one expected. He created a new political identity. Not Democrat, not Republican. Something raw, something volatile, something distinctly American. But not everyone was cheering. Inside the White House, President Trump's inner circle was split. "He's stealing your base, sir," one aide said. "Not just the tech kids. The factory workers. Even some veterans." Trump waved him off. "Let him try. This country doesn't want engineers in charge. They want warriors." But privately, Trump was furious. He knew Musk had shifted the conversation. The big bill, which once seemed like a political home run, was now under assault by grassroots organizations, town halls, and YouTube influencers. Even some Republican senators, those with 2026 re-election concerns, began distancing themselves from the bill's most controversial subsidies. Musk, meanwhile, continued his campaign, not for office, but for the soul of American policy. He launched a national initiative called the Forward Pact, pledging $500 million of his personal wealth toward clean manufacturing, rural robotics academies, AI-based job retraining, and defense tech hubs in underserved regions. His first stop? Youngstown, Ohio. There, at a shuttered steel mill turned robotics lab, Musk gave a quiet speech to 200 laid-off workers, veterans, and students. "I'm not here to tell you how to vote," he said. "I'm here to remind you that progress doesn't have to come from Washington. It can come from people like you if we build the tools, the vision, and the will." The speech went viral. More viral than his Detroit address. More than Trump's East Room firestorm, and that's when the true blowback began. Anonymous White House leaks hit the media, claims of irregularities in Musk's federal grants, questions about AI technology oversight, allegations of foreign investment entanglements. It was clear. The administration was going after him hard, but Musk was ready. He released every financial report related to his company's federal contracts. Every audit, every inspection record. Transparent, public, bold, and then he dropped the bombshell. In a 30-minute sit-down with journalist Megyn Kelly, Elon revealed, "When I resigned as senior advisor to the president on May 30th, I did it because I saw where things were going. I saw a government that was more interested in managing headlines than solving problems. And I couldn't be a part of that anymore." He continued, "Trump built a movement. No one can take that away from him. But movements evolve. And it's time this one did too." The interview closed with a single question: "Will you run for office?" Musk smiled genuinely this time. "I don't need a title to make change. But if it comes to that, I won't say no." The internet imploded. Petitions began. Billboards went up. Musk 2028 trended for 12 straight hours. Republican strategists scrambled. Democratic donors whispered. Caroline Leavitt refused to comment. As for Trump, he tweeted a cryptic line the next morning: "Never bet against a man with a cause. But never forget, I taught him how to fight." And with that, the war between two titans of American power, one the embodiment of political fire, the other the face of future-forward innovation, entered its next chapter. A battle not just for headlines or legislation, but for the very definition of what it means to be an American in the 21st century.